Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Today's video is going to be all about the books that I am abandoning. I'm not finishing the series, I have no passion for it, or I don't feel that it should have been a series. I'm just going to get straight into it because I have so much to say. So first up, I have Outline by Rachel Cusk. This is about a woman who we don't know anything about her when the book begins, but she's going to have 10 different conversations throughout the book, and in those 10 different conversations we are going to find out who this woman is. She's going to reveal herself to us through conversations with mostly strangers. So for example, one of the people in it, she's on a plane and she turns to the man sitting next to her who's a complete stranger, and they start chatting. So through that conversation we're supposed to get little like crumbs of information about her so we can build up our own picture. I felt like I didn't learn anything about her at all, really. I didn't connect to her in any kind of way. I thought it was skillful at times the way in which it was done, and the whole kind of point of sometimes you open up more to a stranger because you're never going to meet them again, so there's no consequences to what you're saying. They're not going to come back to bite you because you're never going to see them. You can kind of rant about people, you can say whatever you want. I just didn't connect to it. It just wasn't for me. There's 2 other books and I just have absolutely no interest in reading on because I feel like this book was just a nothing book for me, so no interest in that. Next up, I'm really scared about this one because people love this series. It's A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. This is book 3 and I'm done. Tap tap, I'm out. Can't read on, I really can't. So book 1 is about these 3 children become orphaned, and then their uncle Klaus is looking after them. He gets to look after them, but they have a massive inheritance that they're gonna get. And he's basically going after their inheritance. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but that's basically the plot of the first book. And you're like, oh my god, this is really good. I really enjoyed the first book. And then the second book is exactly the same. So the children get sent to live with someone else, and then Klaus is in disguise and tracking them down. Oh, this is very similar to the first one. And then the third book, The Wide Window. Oh, they're sent to Aunt Josephine, I think it is. Oh, there's Klaus. Oh god, how boring did it get? It just was so repetitive, and I get it because that's the same plot throughout the whole entire book. So the children are trying to run away from this man who's trying to steal their money. But I just had no kind of interest by the third book. I felt like it was done. I think it would have been good if they just stopped at the first book. That's just me personally, because I thought the first book was perfect. Everything that was within it, it had like a mysterious ending, really loved it. And the way in which it's written, I think it's very much like classic literature, so there's no kind of mollycoddling children or anything. It's like, this is a sad, sinister tale. Strap in, get ready kids, it's gonna be haunting. And I like that about it, that creepiness. But I have absolutely no intention of reading on it, the series. I'm so sorry. I said this before, when I got the second book, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to read book 3, and I got so much hate, and so I read book 3 for you, and I regret it, and I have no interest to read on. Sorry about that. Next up, I have a book that I actually loved. This is Nevermind by Edward St. Auburn, and this is about a lot of English people who are in the south of France and they're getting ready for a barbecue. So there's a couple and they own a house in the south of France, so they are wealthy, they have money, and they're waiting for their friends to arrive. The woman is a bit of an alcoholic. The man is... he's kind of an interesting character. He likes to get under people's skin. He likes to annoy them for his own entertainment, I would say. They are wealthy, they are kind of like the perfect little couple, and they have a little 5-year-old boy called Patrick. And throughout the book, Patrick, it's so easily spoiled, but Patrick is following a dragonfly and having a great time, just, you know, in his own 5-year-old world. But something terrible, really awful, horrendous happens to Patrick. There is an incident. I have no interest in reading on, but I really liked the book. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the incident was dealt with in such a shocking way, but it was done so like realistically. I thought it was great. But then I think this is done now. I know the series goes on and you find out more about the characters and the repercussions of the incident and everything, but I'm done with it. I kind of quite like that it's mysterious and it's left open and it's a lot of unfairness, there's no justice within it, and that's just it. It's a great book on its own, fantastically written, like stunning, poetic, I would say. Done. Don't need to read on. Don't really want to read on. I don't like stuff really about children and stuff happening to them. No interest in reading on. Done with it now. But that's not negative. That's just me saying I'm done with it. That's it. I would read more from the author, just not in that series. Absolutely no passion to read on with it because I like the book as it is. And I think sometimes when you read on in a series, it kind of taints your opinion of the first book, because you can love the first book and then the author takes it in such a different direction that you're like, oh, I doubt whether I even like the first book. Or when in a series you get a filler book, which is always the third book in a series because it also is in movie franchises, and I just think there really didn't need to be a middle thing. So the first book, amazing. Second book, oh god. Third book, oh great. Could have just been 2 books. I hate filler books. Last but certainly not least is Just One Day by Gail Forman. This is a very popular YA book. It's about a girl who, she's American, her parents pay for her to go on this trip to Europe. Can I just say, Europe isn't one country. When people say, oh, I'm going to Europe, and American people normally say it in like TV series or in like this, I'm off to Europe. Oh, doesn't help me. That's very vague. We're in Europe, we're not one big country. Oh, it irritates me because European countries are so different culturally. Obviously we have different languages, different landscapes, different climates. Like everything is so different. You can't just say you're going to Europe. And it irritated me first of all when she was like, oh, I'm off to Europe. And I was just like, what? All the countries in Europe, that's gonna take you a long time. Oh no, wait. Just a few countries in Europe. Well, why don't you just name those countries? It's such a gripe with me as someone from England. I'm like, oh, not one country. But anyway, getting over that. She went to Europe and then she meets this boy and then they end up spending just one day in Paris. And then she goes back to America, she starts college, and it's really about her heartache for this boy and everything like that. I didn't know this was a series because I bought this when it first came out. It wasn't a series at the time. I think I just started BookTube and this was really hyped, and I have only read it this year because I haven't really had the passion to like read it, which I think I got this in like 2014 or something like that. So I read it, I hated it. Just long story short, hated it. Didn't need to be a series. I felt like the end was the most ridiculous thing I've ever read. I'm trying to cage my rage a little bit, but the end was so setting it up for the next book, which is pointless because this book doesn't stand on its own anymore. If you'd have just ended this book and then thought, oh right, I'm going to write another book in the series, but fine, this works as a book in its entirety. But because the whole of the end, it was wasted pages setting up for the next book, I was reading it and I was really confused. I was like, oh wow, they're going to have to wrap this up really quickly. I was like, oh, they're adding a lot of new stuff in here. How are they gonna, there's only a few more pages. How are they gonna wrap this up? Oh, wait. There's another book in the goddamn series. No interest in reading on with this. I didn't like this book. I didn't like how the whole of the end of this book was dedicated to book 2. I felt like it could have been the introduction of book 2, but just to add it in here, it just felt a bit desperate, clutching at straws. Why am I being so hard? I really don't like this book. Desperate Clutching for Straws. Hannah's review. And that's the end of this video. Tell me down below what series you are not going to read on. And are you a bit like me? You can love a book and read it like, never mind, absolutely adore it. But because you love the book so much, you're just like, I'm not interested in the rest of the series. And I feel like this book by itself, I'm done. I'm done with it now. This was very mysterious, the way it ended and everything. It leaves me thinking and wondering about the story and wondering about the characters. That's it. I don't need to like know that they're all okay. I don't need it to be tied up in a happy bow. I don't need any of that. I'm done with it now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're enjoying my videos every day in July. That's horrendous. I'm going to end the video here and I'll see you again tomorrow for another video.